number 2 of the season brings us down south to the Palmetto State as we get set to do a Tuesday night truckin' two-step with the Lady in Black. Hi, hello, and good evening, race fans. It's a cool fall setting in Darlington, South Carolina, as we welcome you to tonight's coverage of the NR2003 Loves American Truck Series, the ASE DieHard 200. Live from the Darlington Raceway, once again, welcome everybody to tonight's Intercast here on the North American Sim Racing Network. My name is Trey Wright, and tonight is one of our shortest races of the season. Only 32 laps around the track, too tough to tame here tonight. Given the short order of the race here this evening, we're definitely going to be seeing some bumper cars at the front of the field like there is no tomorrow. New Jersey was a great opener for the season 1 week ago, a little bit of a split race, the Scotch Tape 250 with a caution coming out halfway through pit stops. Rogel was able to win that race at the New Jersey Motor Speedway, but Darlington, however, is a whole different story when it comes to racing, especially with these race trucks. We saw in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series a couple months back just how rough this racetrack can be. They don't call it the Lady in Black and the track too tough to tame for no reason. Drivers hitting the walls off of turns 2 and 4 is going to be very prevalent for all 32 laps, and a set of pit stops right after the end of stage 2 will jumble things up late in the going if we remain green. It's another showing of Tuesday Night Truckin' here on the NASRN, and it's now time to bring Darlington the action, and it's time to bring Darlington the noise. Let's go down trackside for the most famous words in motorsports to fire the engines for the ASE DieHard 200.
Drivers, start your engines!
And the engines roar to life here on the pit lane at the Darlington Raceway. 42 race trucks ready to rocket around the Lady in Black, and it's Kyler Anderson starting from the pole position in that Mopar number 6 machine. Esteban Lasser starting on the outside of row number 1, Caleb Rose, the Colonel. And the Rockstar Energy number 50 truck starts in the inside of row 2, Alexander Rowe to his outside. JT Reynolds in the 95 will round out the top 5. Skylar Taylor next to him in the 45. Everybody rolling off of the field. There's Rogel in that 37 truck. Won the race last week here. Everybody will roll onto the back straightaway. A couple other drivers in the field. There's Bradley Ream in the 82 with the Carolina Railroad. A little bit of a home race for them here this evening. More on that storyline a little bit later, but one of the 3 trucks that he owns starting on pole here tonight. And saw Thomas Troxel a really good chance, a really good race, and ended up winning the race here for the Mission Barbecue Cup Series about 2 months ago, starting from up in the front end of the field. Only 32 laps here on tap for the truck race. That means the stages will complete after laps 10 and 20. That's pretty much it. See a set of pit stops about 5 laps after the end of stage number 2, but the Chevy Silverado pace truck will head down the pit lane. It's Kyler Anderson in his second race in the North American Sim Racing Network leads the field to the green flag. We're underway from the track too tough to tame. And what a rocketing start for Anderson here off of turns 3 and 4 for the opening time. Trying to get up in the battle to make this a 4-truck battle for the race lead is that 50 truck, but right now it's a two-truck breakaway for the top spot here at Darlington. And here comes Lasser, fake down low, trying to go on the high lane. Kyler Anderson up the racetrack a little bit there, trying to utilize a little bit of momentum here. Off and running here for lap number 3 already. A fifth of the way through stage number 1. I thought we had 1 truck down on the inside. But speaking of the inside, here comes that 99 truck. What a run through 1 and 2 for Alexander Rowe. Rowe with a great jump there will remain back in 3rd. Started this race in 4th, but that 5 guy's number 99. Got a pretty decent pony under there in that 99 Tundra, looking to the inside of the 64 once again, but Lasser will hold serve here. on lap number 4 of the event. But it's Kyler Anderson leading every lap so far. Some single file back in here. We've got about a 7-truck breakaway for the race lead in a row. He's going to lose some momentum. Here comes the 50 truck on the outside. Rose now up to 3rd. Got a lot of action towards the back end of this pack right now. Taylor Lay right now the caboose there in that number 83 truck. Same thing with the 2 of Dylan Matthews. Lucas Catano finished 2nd last week at the Darlington, rather at New Jersey, trying to move to the inside of Pedro Sabato. There's Rogel Dorn, the current points leader, coming into tonight, qualified deep in the field and 32nd for the 37. And it looks like he is falling back a little ways here. 5 laps to go already in stage number 1. And it's looking to be a pretty decent procession. Here at the front end of the field, we got 2 wide for 2nd. Here comes Rose to the inside of that number 64 RCA truck. Everything right behind Kyler Anderson right now. Bradley Ream trying to join the fray. He's trying to get around that number 45 truck in front of him. Chris Harvey, the other Railfan Motorsports entry, up into the outside wall. We remain green. Of course, the Carolina Railroad has got a substation here down in Darlington, South Carolina, so a little bit of a home race for Railfan Motorsports here this evening. Running a pretty decent race so far. One of their trucks is in the lead, the other one trying to fight to get inside the top 5 here. Taylor up the racetrack through 3 and 4. No worse for wear. Rose is going to lose a little bit of momentum on the inside lane, and here comes Skylar Taylor. Thought about making it 3 wide underneath the 50 and the 95. Reynolds nearly into the outside wall. Same thing with Corbin Wentz. But it's Lasser and Anderson running 1-2. Have split themselves a little bit away from the lead pack right now. Coming around to 2 laps to go in stage number 1 in a rapidly moving race here so far at the Darlington Raceway. And we're underway for the final lap, or 2 laps to go here in the opening stage. Lasser is going to get a really good run off the back end of that number 6 truck, trying to poke down to the inside. Outside lane is the preferred line here at Darlington, however, gave the 6 a little bit of a shove. Here comes Lasser, but he's not able to poke a nose down to the inside. Last lap in stage number 1, trying to get some more bonus points is Rowe, and trying to make this a 3-truck battle for that 2nd spot in stage number 2 is the 50. Rose down to the inside of Rowe. Those 2 continue to go side by side. Lasser about maybe 2 truck lengths off the back end of the 6. Trying to cut in as much as he can. That diamond pattern through turns 3 and 4 has helped Kyler Anderson a lot so far tonight. And off the final corner, stage number 1 will go to the Mopar number 6 Ram of Kyler Anderson. Nice flyby of the field here as everybody starts to get strung out here for the start of stage number 2. And it's still 3 trucks on top of one another, already approaching the midway point through this race. We've been racing for not a whole lot of time here at the Darlington Raceway, but Anderson looking to hold serve from where he's starting. Of course, we will have set of pit stops coming up in about 15 laps or so. Right after the end of stage number 2. And right after stage 2, we're going to have only 13 laps to go in this event. So these guys are going to have to get on and off the pit lane as quickly as they can here. Now I got a good battle brewing up here for the top 5. But right now it's still Rowe trying to get to the inside of the 64. Oh, he is moving that 99 all over, trying to find as much grip as you can here. Rose moves to the top side of JT Reynolds. Now it's Colin Jones who is trying to find himself inside the top 10. Right now, Roberto Crown Jr. The tail end of the top 10 right here and right now. Kasumi Takashi looking for another decent run in the 51 truck. Same thing with Ream. And Nathan Orman looks to be in prime position to potentially take the points lead away going into Dover in a couple of days' time. Not a whole lot of action at the front of the field as Anderson has led the most laps so far tonight. Single file as the field is strung out all the way to between turns 1 and 2. And turns 3 and 4 right now. And here comes a little bit of help on the inside for Rowe. Ream nearly on the outside wall in the 82. Rowe, who is the best of the rest for the drivers outside of the chase at the New Jersey Motor Speedway, trying to make his way to the inside of Esteban Lasser. 5 laps to go in stage number 2. Trying to make that 99 machine work just a little bit, but not able to hold on. A lot of good talent at the front end of this pack right now as Rose now looks to try to get around the 99. So Rowe in a little bit of a two-front battle here. And oh, he had to check up going into 3 and 4. And that's going to accordion this pack back in here, and it's going to make it back into a 2-truck race right now. Anderson just continuing to try to hold that line in that 6 machine. Taylor on the outside of Reynolds. Those two side by side. We're officially past the midway point through tonight's race here. Anderson trying to hold on in that 6 machine. 4 trucks underneath the blanket coming around to 3 laps to go in stage 2. It's been a good race so far. It's been a relatively short race as here comes Lasser to the inside of the 6. Does he get a little bit of a ledge off of him off of the corner? He's not. Goes back up to the outside to protect the high lane. Here comes Rose. These trucks continue to just rocket around the Darlington Raceway. Haven't seen a whole lot of trucks up into the outside wall just yet. A couple have been relatively close, however. Oh, Rose up the outside. Nearly got into the wall. Here comes Taylor to the inside of the 50. 3 trucks under a blanket coming around to the white flag lap in stage number 2. Anderson looking to sweep the stages here tonight. You've got the 64 of Lasser right on his tailgate. Alexander Rowe continues to try to poke to the inside. Here he comes. He's got a ledge. Can he get the run off the inside? It looks like Lasser's gonna get the run on the outside. Those two will continue to battle for second, but the battle right now behind that 6 truck of Anderson. Off turns 3 and 4 here. Once again, stage number 2 will go to Kyler Anderson. He has led all 20 laps he has faced so far tonight. And with 12 laps to go in this race, do have a set of pit stops coming up here shortly. Carlos Murphy currently with the fastest lap of the night right now, a 28.136 second lap. The time is winding down, and we got 1 truck. Heard somebody got on the outside wall there. The caution flag is out. So the yellow flag is out here late, and we've got a big stack up. Carlos Murphy, Joseph Wood, and Dylan Matthews among the trucks involved. Jay McMichael is also in it. I think we might had a couple of trucks that were looking to come down the pit lane as Murphy in that American Motorsports number 0 machine looks to be pretty beat up there. Another caution flag coming out late, and instead of having green flag pit stops, this will be the money stop here, coming around to less than 10 laps to go. And Kyler Anderson needs to have a good pit stop here to retain his race lead. Has led all 21 laps of the night so far. We'll come around to lead lap number 22 here in just a couple of moments. And Reggie Fogelman is going to stay out. Lucas Catano is also going to stay out. That's a very bold strategy for both of those drivers. They might try and come back down the pit lane here, but for everybody else, it's feed-in time at the Darlington Raceway. Anderson with that number 1 pit stall in the 6 truck. Take on 4, Mr. Feelgoods. Actually, no, it's pretty much everybody is just going to take gas and go here. Caleb Rose got very shuffled out of line in that Rockstar number 50, and that might cost him a lot of track time. Reggie Fogelman, he and Lucas Catano are going to try to lead a couple of laps here. Or we might get a decent scoring situation here. It's Anderson right now behind the 64, but he definitely got off the pit lane first. So Anderson trying to find a way around the stricken 3 truck of Joseph Wood, and he will indeed go up there. Alexander Rowe came off of the pit lane in second by the looks of it. We're going to have a pretty decent scoring situation coming up here in just a couple of moments. But nonetheless, we got under 10 laps to go, and Reggie Fogelman being scored as the race leader right now. Take a look and see what happened to put us under the caution flag for the first time tonight in the ASE DieHard 200 at Darlington. So this all gets started when Nathan Orman from the top lane tries to pull a Ty Dillon and a Quinn Houff and goes down to the inside to come down the pit lane and clears himself right off the front end of the 08 of Corbin Wentz. Orman would just get up into the outside wall and be on his way, but this is going to create a massive pile up here in turns 3 and 4. It all started when Corbin Wentz got up into the outside wall with Carlos Murphy, and both those trucks are going to spin around, just getting through where Cole Sampson and Danny Fallington, Joseph Wood, Chris Harvey, Matt Lagacy were not able to get around, however, and here comes the 81 of Jay McMichael storming in. He is involved, and this is just going to be a big stack up here in turns 3 and 4. You see Lagacy getting turned around, and it is just going to be a pretty big jam up here in the corners. There is Nathan Stapleton. He's going to get knocked out from that. You got a big stack up. Carson Miller also running into the 37. Pedro Sabato, Lucas Catano was out. I'm surprised Catano stayed out there when it looked like he got a little bit of damage. A couple of trucks were caught on the embankment there. There is McMichael, who's destroyed in the 81. I think, yeah, he was also caught on the embankment too. A lot of trucks involved in that accident there in turns 3 and 4, and it all started when Orman just tried to clear himself going down the back straightaway. I think to come down the pit lane. He didn't end up coming down the pit lane, so I think he might have transitioned from the pit LP to the race line or the panic LP, but this is going to throw a monkey wrench into things here, potentially. But we'll take another look at what happened here and get you back to the restart of tonight's race at Darlington. Following along with the 08 Pets.com F-150 of Corbin Wentz, you see the 24 spin off of the front end of that Ford. And everybody is just going to pile in here in turns 3 and 4. See a lot of trucks trying to force their way through on the outside. A couple more trucks getting beached there on the embankment. Not a pretty scene for a lot of these drivers trying to race back to the caution flag. There's Lucas Catano, one of the 2 trucks that stayed out here, and there is the other. Reggie Fogelman will be your race leader. Can he make it to the end on gas? That'll be yet to be determined, but we're going to find out here in just a couple of moments. We get back to green flag racing here at the Darlington Raceway in the ASE DieHard 200. And we're back here at the Darlington Raceway cleaning up our first caution of the night. 3 trucks retired from that melee in turn 4. Jay McMichael, Nathan Stapleton, and Carson Miller, I should say, are all in the garage area after that. Joseph Wood and Carlos Murphy, the only trucks 1 lap down. So you see Chris Harvey with some pretty heavy damage back in the field, but Joseph Wood is a lap down in the 3. And with getting to the restart here with under 10 laps to go, he's going to be in between Kyler Anderson, the rest of the trucks that pit, and Reggie Fogelman and Lucas Catano. This is a very interesting gambit for both of these drivers, trying to utilize the caution laps to save enough gas to possibly make it to the end of the race. If they're able to pull this off, that's going to be one heck of a gamble here. But we're going to find out. We got 8 laps to go. Coming around to the restart to 7 laps to go. It'll be Fogelman, Catano, Anderson, Lasser, and Rowe. The top 5. Green flag is back out in the air. And here we go, 7 laps to decide the ASE DieHard 200, and Anderson immediately moving to the inside of the Truckin Go Bowling truck of wood. Great restart out of the top 2, and here comes Catano to the inside of Fogelman. Oh, those two racing side by side. That's going to be potentially problematic. Oh, Catano on the inside. He had to let up a lot. And Fogelman's going to get the run on the outside there in the 42. 6 laps to go. Corbin and Wentz all the way in the back. We got one truck down the inside. It's Bruno Giacomo. He's getting a black flag right now for passing under the caution flag. Had a lot of those penalties here, and that is going to be a tough break for Giacomo, who will serve a stop-and-go penalty in the 43. But right now, it's his teammate. That 42 truck coming around to 5 laps to go. Can Fogelman hold on with the fuel that he's got? Can Lucas Catano also hold on? The only other O2 Racing entry out on the track with Carson Miller going behind the wall. Went very, very off the pace in the 08. Catano was looking to go to the outside of the 42. Anderson very far back. It's a dogfight for 4th back in there. 4 laps to go, and Catano right on the tailgate of that Mountain Dew Toyota. Here comes Catano. He's got to run to the inside of Fogelman, side by side for the race lead. Heading towards the Boeing back straightaway. A really good run on the outside there from Fogelman. He'll retain the lead. Catano not giving up, and they're both going to come down the pit lane. So the gamble is not going to pay off for either of those drivers, and they will have to make their pit stop. 3 laps to go, and the possession of the race is back in the hands of Kyler Anderson. And we figure that they could not make it to the end, and they're going to get full of octane racing fuel. I really don't know why you make that decision, but now Anderson has a chance to win this race from the pole. It'll be sticks high in the air with 2 laps remaining this time around. Anderson, Lasserre, and Rowe, the top 3 all night long, and Alexander Rowe was desperately trying to get around that 64 truck all evening. He might have his best run of the night so far at that. And he's got it. Lap and a half to go. Alexander Rowe will take 2nd away from Lasserre. Lasserre with a hard charge on the outside, though. He's up into the outside wall. He's into the fence. He's nearly turned around. And all this is happening behind the race leader of Kyler Anderson. White flag is in the air. One more time around the lady in black for Anderson. Down the Boeing back straightaway for the final time. Lasserre will fall back to 4th. Skylar Taylor is up to the podium. But right now, Alexander Rowe with one final charge to the inside. It's not going to be enough, and off of turn number 4, the Rockingham, North Carolina native will get his maiden debut on the NASRN. Kyler Anderson wins it. What a run for Anderson right at the end. Got the job done. Started on pole. Led 26 laps on the night. He wins from the pole position, sweeps the stages, doesn't lead every lap like we thought he was going to. He definitely kicked butt out there this evening. He's definitely going to be towards the top end of the points right now after that one. Alexander Rowe with a 2nd place finish. Skylar Taylor rounded out the podium. Lasserre and Kasumi Takashi will round out the top 5. So that Vision Motorsports truck program looking to be very strong on these intermediates here this season. But Anderson for Railfan Motorsports getting the job done. Railfan Motorsports will get their first win as an organization here on the North American Sim Racing Network as we take a look at the official standings for tonight's race. Kyler Anderson, Alexander Rowe, and Skylar Taylor, the podium, like we said. Lasserre, Takashi, the top 5. Caleb Rose fell down to 6th. JT Reynolds, 7th. Colin Jones is 8th. Michael Lewis, 9th. And Eric Monaco Rounding out the top 10s, we take a look at where every driver finished here this evening. 3 trucks failed to finish the race. 34 trucks were on the lead lap. And Catano and Fogelman, the gamble for both of those trucks, unfortunately did not pay off for either of them. Which, then them trying to stretch it all 32 laps on a tank of gas was pretty comical, to say the least, if I'm being brutally honest. But yeah, Kyler Anderson getting the job done here tonight as the rest of your results cycle about on your screen. About a 30-minute race. And that includes all the pre-race stuff for about a 25-minute race. About probably one of the shortest races you'll see here on the NASRN. Of course, these 200-mile races are going to be pretty short compared to the 400 and 500-mile races we see over on the MBCS. And, of course, the marathons we see in the FMGTC. But another really great race, and Kyler Anderson, his first ever win here on the channel. Bradley Ream, like we said, gets his first win as an owner. And another race where drivers are trying to get down the pit lane, and we're robbed of green flag or a full cycle of green flag pit stops. Not like what we saw at the New Jersey Motor Speedway last week. But nonetheless, that's going to do it here for tonight's race. Congratulations once again to Kyler Anderson for winning the ASE DieHard 200. And tomorrow night will be the last race of the Fuel Grand National Series 2025 season. Corbin Wentz will be racing that tomorrow night. Homestead will be the race at Homestead, Miami at 9 o'clock Eastern Time here on the North American Sim Racing Network. Then on Saturday, it's back to the Love's American Truck Series. Coverage live from the Dover International Speedway for the Duralast 200 gets underway at noon Eastern right here on the NASRN. That's right, we're going to have not only a weekly racing or a midweek racing here for Tuesday Night Truckin', we're also going to have some weekend contests here to fit all 15 races into the back end of 2025. Of course, the full schedule in the Discord server, which the link for that is down below, but that's going to do it. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Here are your point standings after Race 2 of the 2025 Love's American Truck Series season. And from Darlington, South Carolina, on behalf of the North American Sim Racing Network, my name is Trey Wright. Have a great evening, folks. We'll see you guys tomorrow night for Fuel and Saturday afternoon in Dover, Delaware.